So many people who are new to UFC and MMA as a sport and are kind of casual in the way that they follow it, I've always wondered why, despite there being some serious casualties and deaths in boxing, and even some in MMA as a whole, there's never ever been a serious fatality in the UFC, despite being the most high profile and most mainstream. There's never ever been a death in the Octagon in the UFC, fortunately. But I'm here to tell people that's actually by design, because the UFC, this isn't the most thing to be proud of, care more about the fighters' health before they get into the Octagon than they do after it. They have turned down thousands and thousands of UFC fighters, aspiring UFC fighters who've had big careers on the regional scene, whatever. They'll get to the medical screening check and they can't fight. They'll find underlying issues, whether that's in the brain, structural issues in the heart, anything that can disqualify them, put them at serious harm in the Octagon, and they'll be turned away completely, because the UFC is conscious of this, that if there was ever a serious death, how many eyes are on the sport now? If there was ever a death in the Octagon with all those eyes on the cage, that could seriously harm the reputation of the UFC and probably wipe out a massive percentage of the valuation overnight. That would take so many people away from the sport, and rightly so. So it's incredibly important for them to maintain athlete safety. It really is. But obviously after the fight, once you've walked out and they know that they know that you'll live, then that's your problem. You go to the hospital and then after that, that's it. But yeah, that's why there hasn't been a death in the Octagon. It's kind of by design. The UFC actually should be given more credit for this, because they don't just send the cattle to to be destroyed. This is actually a very, very well-oiled machine.